true story. I can't cut this out. So somebody brought us some magic mushrooms, and me and my husband, we tried them for the first time. And at that night, a magic happened. I experienced a complete stillness of mind. There was nobody talking. I was just sitting for hours in that spaciousness, in that beautiful peace, and wow, that was something else. So when a few days later, I knew I have to get back to that state. And that's how my real search started. I just was looking for ages to find what that was and how to get back there. And it took me many years to arrive at Jed McKenna's books. And reading those books, I got a message that if I want to know the truth of what I am, I have to figure that out myself. It's not somewhere else. Nobody can give me an answer. I have to actually look inside, look at what is here, and figure it out by myself, for the love of truth. That's what I did. And it was a painful period because I had to look at all my beliefs one by one and see that they are not the truth. So I had to deconstruct my belief system, which is not pleasant or fun, because when you see that everything that you believe is not the truth, you kind of feel like you are losing something. So more and more of these beliefs went, and at some point I arrived at this is okay, I don't need to believe anything. It took about half a year for this process. I was writing a lot. I took that Jed McKenna's advice to write to heart, and I was doing that. But the last step was still to be taken, and that was the question: is there a self? Is there Ilona running the show? And the answer to that question changed everything. So, I'm sorry, there was a little distraction there. So what happened then? I saw that there is one life, one aliveness. There are no separate beings. There is no separate being called Ilona that is running her own show. And that changed everything. It's instantly, it was just one-way turn. And since then, I saw how simple that is. You just need to look for yourself, to face that fact, and to see it in your own experience, so everything becomes clear. And I started to share that message. I started to share that on Facebook, on my blog. I started to write a blog. It's called Marked Eternal. And more people were emailing me and just wanting to see the same. And somehow all this started like pointing to these people to look for themselves. Well, a few months after that initial seeing, I met Pamela Wilson in London in her satsang, and I saw how she worked with people. So that inspired me to experiment and ask the same question, which gave me a tool to help people to see, because what happens in this process, there is a lot of fear, and seeing how Pamela Wilson dealt with the fear gave me kind of advantage, gave me a tool how to deal with that. And in September 2011, a few of us started this movement called Liberation Unleashed, and it's a forum. And what happens there, that seekers come to be guided, and there is a guide that comes to speak to them, and they have a one-on-one conversation on the forum. Guide is basically asking questions and invites the seeker to look in their own experience. What is the self? What is it separate from? What is thinking? What is body? What is mind? What is this being? And just by asking questions so that people can answer that for themselves, they get to this point of seeing, of clarity, and a realization moment happen, which is really beautiful to witness. So many years later, it's still going, it's still very strong, and we still have so many seekers coming and asking for a guide. And up to date, there were, I don't know, over 300 guides in Liberation Unleashed, and everyone is working free of charge at their own spare time. It's just a beautiful to watch this happening. As when people see that, they want to share, they want to help others to see, because it's such a simple thing. It sounds so radical if you have never looked that way. But once you start digging in your own experience, you find that it adds up, that everything becomes so obvious and so simple that changes the whole way you see life and yourself and others. So it's really something else. And I'm so grateful for everyone that in any way have been working with Liberation Unleashed in admin work, in starting, in sharing. Like everyone is such a beautiful family. That brings us up to date, and I'm here. I'm still on the forum guiding for free, but I'm also exploring this Skype sessions where I can meet with the seeker, with the person once a week, twice a week for a period of time, and then we can explore this deeper. And that really gives me joy of witnessing the dramatic change and transformation in the experience.